Hollywood, California, Meltdown Comics and the Meltdown Nerd Melt, Melty Melt, Showroom Melt. Harmontown is now in session. Your game master, as always, is Spencer Crittenden. And the mayor of Harmontown, Mr. Dan Harmon.
Thank you. Hey, Chris, can we finish that conversation? It feels important. Should I go like this? One more step. Oh, okay. I don't want to be an asshole, but why not put the mic there? It's only for my edification. This is the for the cameras as we continue to ruin the audio podcast with our horrible cameras and our need. Video killed the radio star. Video podcasting is killing. You used to just tune in for the soothing sound of my lullaby voice. Just focus on the resonating chamber of my velociraptor skull. Anyways, so God, the earth is changing underneath our feet, Jeff. Imagine telling your 25-year-old self, say, "Hey, I'm Jeff Davis. It's the year 2015. I'm sending you a message from the future. The Supreme Court has just determined that everyone in the whole country, marriage is just marriage. That's all it is. Just."
And Canada did it 10 years before, but that's not the point. That's not the point.
Yeah, well, no, we're America. We're first in war, 21st in marriage rights. We're just beneath Ireland. But also, so you wouldn't even know what a podcast was then, but you're sending a message saying, the President of the United States is going to be a guest on Mark Maron's podcast. He's going to say the N-word. And
he's going to sing Amazing Grace at a funeral. That was rad.
That was great.
I just heard about that. He can sing too?
Oh, I mean, pretty good for a president, but I feel like with some classes he could really pull it out.
I haven't heard.
I wouldn't say
it's good
perfect,
enough,
but he was doing it a cappella,
yeah.
And he was doing it in a key. What I love is the organist, I think, at the on the choir finds him and misses just by like a half note, and Obama finds it. Like they all the organist puts it in a key, and then they all start singing along. But there was that moment when he started singing, and everyone's like, "Stand up! The fucking president is singing right now."
We are gonna miss this guy so much. This is the lame duck Obama is the fucking FDR of the 21st century. He's like amazing. He's just like, by the way, here's how I really feel, and we're like, oh yeah, that's why I voted for you, like a long time ago.
He had a very good week, and not just he, but lots of people, and he didn't spike a lot of footballs and do a lot of end zone dancing. He just kept it. He's very classy. He's very charming, I think.
That's why. I mean, but think about this guy. So okay, so this N-word thing. Like have we been clear on this? Do we understand that like this notion of like he of all people? Like these thoughts that start with he of all people, that's the same thing as like that's do we understand that politically and strategically, like Obama is less allowed to talk about race than any pre-existing president, that he has been targeted by more racism, that his Twitter account can't say, hey, sign up for healthcare without, I always click on it because I'm always fascinated. There's always the N-word is always somewhere in there, literally just the N-word. Just like someone just wants to remind him, just wants to tell him, and people that like want him to speak out and make everything right at every time in this changing age when everything we're finding out about this racially hot things. Like the president of the United States is not supposed to necessarily like come down to every city and make a big speech and raise a big stink about everything that's going wrong. I mean, let alone the first black president of the United States. Every time that guy speaks up about anything racial, people just fucking jump. And so he's been strategic and he's been practical, and now he doesn't have to be. And he goes into Mark Maron's garage and fucking lays it down. And rounding out the triumvirate of holy shit, the dream is coming true. The LAPD is now killing middle-aged white men. No, that's also horrible. I hope his family isn't a fan. I'm
sorry. Is there something in the news today that I don't know about?
No, not in the way we talked about it last
news.
week. I mean, it's old news, but it's also like, what the fuck is going on? They took these cops that shot that guy. I'm gonna lay my cards on the table. Let's just go to the racist place. Like, let me be a white racist. Please let me. So that we don't have to worry about that anymore. Like, is Dan being racist? Is he being insensitive? Let me be insensitive and racist so that we can like cut straight through to what's really disturbing about a white 48-year-old guy holding a towel, getting gunned down by cops who, according to their training, are supposed to shoot you if you hold a towel up. Why aren't towels illegal? Why aren't cops illegal? This is getting extreme. And if it takes a white guy to make white people go, oh, okay, deal breaker, it's not because we think that the black people deserve it. It's because secretly white liberals are going, I think that the racist part of white liberals is the part of us that goes vigilante about race relations. That's what white people do. We're like, I'm racist. We're born racist, as you know. That's the one racist thing I'll accept. White people are born racist. The racist part of us goes when we hear about the cop brutality stuff. That part of us is going like, yeah, but that's got to be a hard job. Dressed like Hitler Youth, walking around a bunch of black people. That's got to be tough. You know that we think that. And then we go, naughty white guy, naughty white cop, naughty. Just because it's hard, you have to control yourself. And and then the fucking 48-year-old white jogger with the towel gets shot, and you're like, wait a minute, how is my brain functioning? This is this is all what the fuck? This is insane. The system is. I don't know what to do about it. But if you can't hold a towel, and you can't be, and
you can't be a white guy.
All sympathies. I'm not gonna let you push my buttons, and I'm not. I know that I'm making sense.
That's where you're pointing with this, though, right?
I guess you can skim that fucking hot button shit off the top of what I'm saying, but what I'm really trying to do, I think
you could take a deep ladle full of that.
I said at the top of this conversation, I said, let's be racist. Let's go to the racist. You
said,
place.
let me be racist, not let's all be racist.
A fine distinction. Let me be racist. Let me be racist. Yes, I said that. Let me be racist. And say, why is that the deal breaker? And why the fuck, more importantly, because if we were giving a pass, to cops in areas where white people felt like maybe we felt like it was a demilitarized zone, or we felt like, I'm liberal politically, but hey, I can't imagine doing that job. That must be real hard. By the way, sanitation workers get killed more often than cops. I don't deny. They just did a study. How dangerous is this fucking job?
What is sanitation?
People murder them, or they fall
let's not worry about sanitation workers. The point is that.
Wait, no. Wait.
Are people picking them off with guns from the rooftop, or did they get crushed by?
Like, get out of my garbage! It's being mistaken for raccoons is like the highest cause of death in the United States, other than experimental aircraft. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass.
That's why I built a cedar wood enclosure for my trash in front of me.
and now I approve of that. Now that I'm seeing the danger it causes. That's Donnie Deepcut is giving you the high clap. He loves. Anyways, I'm glad. Come on, where was I? I was being racist. If now can we go like, okay, so if you're a squad car and you're stuck in broad daylight traffic on Los Feliz Boulevard where there's 6 yogurt shops within a mile radius and a 48-year-old white jogger with a towel in his hands can also provoke the same response. Is it? I mean, can we definitely call it quits? And if we use that as the deal breaker, can we just reveal that we've all been racist and that maybe that's why this whole fucking problem exists in the first place? That was my only point. Because I'm willing to lay it bare.
Are you saying that the deal for you wasn't broken yet? That you still kind of consider, that's a bad neighborhood full of black people?
No.
I can see that.
Well.
Being a byproduct of that job in that part of town. I think the deal was broken a long time ago.
I think that as I've always said, race is an artificial construct, and the thing that we're connected is it's the idea that people that have phenotypical characteristics all live on one block. That's where things become what we're identifying as race issues are class issues and cultural issues and stuff. And so I think that within that maelstrom, yes, I will say to you, yes. Well, I have always thought in the back of my head, I have always thought, boy, that can't be a good gig.
But does it have to be a race thing, or can it just be a class thing? Because we live in a neighborhood where that shooting took place. The rent is very high there. Is it possible that for you, because it's so close to where you actually live and you're safer,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. So it's not a race thing; it's a class thing.
I'm saying there is no such thing as a race thing. If we were to actually talk about genetics, there's no such thing as a race thing. Yes. The striation that we call racial, that's not. We know artificial. I've said 1,000 times on this stage, race is an artificial construct. Dan, what do you mean by that? What I mean is that it's a man-made construct. The things that we delineate as racial are forced. They are. If you lived in a world, if you grew up in a high school where all of the red-headed people sat at one lunch table, if there were as much attention paid to freckles or the weird continuum of skin shades that exist within what we consider African American skin tones and Middle Eastern skin tones and white skin tones, everybody's skin has a different color to it. Yes, there's genetic, there's these characteristics and things, but compared to the things that actually make a difference, it's an artificial construct. It's man-made. So it's not, when we're talking about racial things and racial hot buttons, when we're talking about the actual existence of a black community, we don't actually mean a bunch of people who are united by genetics alone. That gets us into all kinds of trouble. Because that's really, really a huge sleight of hand. We're talking about class, and we're talking about the fact that there's been these forced impositions. We should have all been fucking each other a long time ago. We should all, and I'm not saying that this is a necessity, but statistically speaking, if there hadn't been xenophobia when anyone landed on the coast of anything, if there had never been any imposition of any artificially asserted construct, we would all just look like Halle Berry and Tiger Woods by now. We would, and Benjamin Bratt and whatever. We'd all. And none of us would give a fuck. And it's okay that world hasn't happened yet. We can still exist in that world because some people have long necks and some people have big noses and some people have weird toes and some people have shovel teeth and some people have and then some people are so desperate for identity that they fucking carve up their own face. So Jesus Christ, we don't have to be in such a hurry to all fuck each other. But some people have tattoos and some people are in wheelchairs and some people eat wood. Termites. Those are termites. We don't have to include them. Race is an artificial construct, is my point.
Would you?
Oh, thanks, guys.
That's been our show. Good night. Thanks for coming, everybody. Drive safely. Would you fuck a termite, Dan, if you could? What do you think? What do you think a human termite baby? What would be the upside to a human termite crossbreeding?
Well, definitely the ability to digest wood. I imagine all insects are totally jealous of termites, don't you? They eat wood. Like, imagine flies are like, fuck you! They're on top of a turd, and they're like, whoa! Enjoy your log cabin, Thoreau! The worst. The termites have got to... How do they even do that? It must be at the expense of something. Termites must be terrible golfers or... Dumb. By the way, we're recording my comedy album tonight, so thank you for laughing at my termite run.
What would the downside be for of a human termite hybrid?
Probably no cardiovascular system, no brain, like just being a collection of neurons that make a thing go like this. Spencer,
if you could crossbreed humans with any animal or insect from across the animal kingdom, what do you think would be the most advantageous?
Oh, definitely an iguana. Think about how useful an iguana is. Now think about applying that skill set to the mental capacity of a human. You'd get humans that could lie on sticks or perhaps flat rocks.
Okay, let him talk. Let him finish. Let him finish.
They'd even probably be able to eat mealworms. I don't know. I
love that he left out changing color.
Iguanas, Dan. I thought about saying chameleons, didn't go there.
Oh, iguanas. I'm sorry. Hey, look who's race blind. Fuck you people. I hooked you in by saying I'm racist. How does it feel on the lowest road compared to me, where even iguanas and chameleons... Lizards famous for their color are indistinguishable to me. Fuck you all. The FBI is waiting at each exit. You're all going on a racism list. Because I'm the decoy. I'm the guy that whatever they call him, like in those kiddie porn.
Protege.
Protege?
Another callback.
In the movie, what is that? There was a movie. What was the movie with the? Oh, God damn it! Honey Pot. Is that it? Yeah. It's like this is sad. This is a sad thing to get clear. The kid that they use to like lure in other kids.
You should ask Deep Cut Donnie, whatever his name.
Deep Cut. Honey Pot. Yeah. Honey Pot. Yeah. Okay. None of us feel better. Like, okay, now I know. I got all my pedophile terms down. It's like, I'm glad I came out here tonight. Could have been at the BET Awards, but I'm a pedophile expert. One more thing, the Confederate flag thing. I'm going to say one thing about it, and then we're done. We're going to meet some people. We're going to have some fun. Yes, scrutinize the flag. Get it down. You know why? It's a fucking flag. How less racist do you think the United States flag is? All right, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Like, I just fucking get bummed out. Like, are you kidding me? Like, oh, really? Because it's the logo for Dukes of Hazzard. It's like, it makes such an easy target. It's like, yeah, they lost, and they're like, they should not be flying that over any Capitol building. It's been like tolerated, fucking sedition.
All flags are bummers.
Yeah, they're fucking flags. Like, it's like, just like, yeah, fucking, let's be.
Also, we fold it weird. That's a stupid way to fold anything.
We fold it weird. We fold it weird. And we have all kinds of weird rules about it.
A fucking triangle? That's a stupid.
Every single flag on this entire planet is by its very nature the whole reason to have a flag is to like
fold it in a square or rectangle.
We'll get to, but saying this, the idea of taking a piece of fabric and saying this is a symbol and we're waving it, that's how all dehumanization begins.
Yeah.
So yeah, have them. They're fine. They're great. Scrutinize some of them. Hey, that one's the loser's flag. Let's take it down. Didn't they lose a long time ago? We should probably put that in a museum instead of over our government building. It's kind of weird that we keep letting them do that.
Yeah, also,
if you put a flag up over a southern city's capitol building that said Jeff Davis rules, people would show up at your door.
Well, first off, they'd be right. The second, my name, Jeff Davis, Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy.
Oh boy.
No, every week somebody sends me a tweet of them being in the South and a bumper sticker or a sticker on a lamppost that says "Don't blame me, I voted for Jeff Davis" across the Confederate Jack. Like there's loads of good old racist Jeff Davis, my name across the Confederate flag.
We thought you were going to tell the Teen Wolf story again. I'm kidding. I'm doing it. Deep Cut Townie knows what I'm talking about. No, Deep Cut Townie fucking gas-faced me.
I did tell the story about my name profiting me in the South, right? Yeah.
Yes. That's what I thought you were doing. That's why I said,
no.
"Oh boy." I didn't want you to go on that record track.
No, I'll fucking talk about Teen Wolf though, man.
Don't do either. Let's freshen things up with a long-awaited guest, somebody who should have been here a long time ago, partly because it's basically, well, I mean, not basically, literally, she's the reason why the podcast exists, because years ago at the Roost, she was just very, like, she wasn't assertive about it. She was just sort of clear about it, said, like, you should have a podcast. You should do a podcast. And I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I should. Her benefits extend beyond that. A lot of you already love her from the Indoor Kids and all kinds of stuff, and she's got a book that's coming out that we'll plug. But let's get to talking to her. Emily Gordon's here.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, Emily.
Hello.
Emily Vance Gordon.
Vance, that's right.
You got a cool middle name.
I hate that middle name.
Why? It's rad.
It was supposed to be my first name if I was going to be a boy, and I wasn't. Because I don't think anybody would have sex with someone named Vance, so I'm quite happy about that. But middle name status, I'll take it. It's fine. Yeah.
Emily Vance. So they loved the name so much they couldn't let it go, even though you were a woman.
It must be in here somewhere. I'm lucky I didn't get one of those four-name people. You know the four-name people? It's not good.
What?
I have kind of an equally charming story. My parents didn't expect a third child, so they made up a name and.
Dan? Did they make up Dan?
Yeah.
You guys, the creator of Dan.
They just grabbed it, and rolled me under a porch. So I want to start with like one of the most I think this kind of exemplifies you in my mind, my relationship with you, your role in my cosmos. I'm constantly retweeting you things that you just retweet. It's not like you're out there like aggressively asserting yourself, but you like Graham Linehan, who we had on the show.
Oh, he's so great on Twitter.
And particularly through the things he retweets, it's like I just by looking at his retweets, I feel like a smarter person, and I also feel like a much dumber person. But your stuff, the stuff that you retweet, is like the emotional equivalent of that. The most exemplary one. Was you simply retweeted a Tumblr? No, was this something that you wrote, or was this something?
No, it's something that somebody else wrote that I just saw and retumbled and therefore retweeted.
It was.
God, I hate myself. Just having to say that sentence out loud, I'm not fond of myself.
We all died a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
It was simply a list of ways to compliment people. I don't want to get this wrong. List of ways to compliment people without involving their physical appearance.
Their appearance. Yeah, that's it. That was it.
Nice things you can say to people other than how they look.
Yeah.
And I was like my brain like flipped over because it was like, this is something I should have realized a long time ago. It's like it's beyond gender politics. It's beyond, but it certainly afflicts, probably, if I were to guess, the female self-esteem a little more than the half of the species that's allowed to look like this.
What were a couple that you remember or anything?
You know what? Fuck it. No, I didn't even read it. But
based on the title alone, you were like, yes. This speaks to me. This resonates.
But that's an important thing. So the piece is think about this. This is a piece that made my mind flop 180 degrees about some part of my brain just like reshuffled completely. And there was no outrage. There was no lynching. There was no anger. There was no shaming. Even comedically, and like all this comedy people, like that's how we express our progress as we.
Bitch about things.
Yeah, your husband's the best at it.
Oh, he's so good.
He's fucking great. He's like Lancelot. He's out there like slashing.
He complains on a constant basis.
That's what we do. That's as progressive as comedy and comedy writers get. We kind of like we stab and we poke at the things that we don't like. But this was a thing that was like, hey, here's a list of things you could say to somebody that you like, that have nothing to do with their physical appearance, and there was no victimization, there was nothing. I name a couple of them, things that you could say. I don't remember a goddamn one, and I don't have to.
I enjoy the way your voice sounds. Wouldn't you love hearing that from somebody, you guys? I think it was stuff like, I like how your voice sounds. I enjoy the work that you did on that thing. Like, just very kind of random things. But
I enjoy spending time with you.
You
make me feel better about myself.
Just like a genuine, like, vulnerable expression of, like, this is something you do that I like. Like, that's kind of a rarity. You don't really have a lot of time.
You scare me less than other people.
You make me feel like dancing. I'm going to dance the night away.
Yeah. I want to dance with somebody who loves me, obviously.
I'm your private dancer.
Dancer for money?
A dancer for money.
Oh, will you do what I want you to do?
Yeah.
Don't make it about yourself. Make it about her.
These are our dance hall days.
You're just scrambling now.
Everybody Wang Chung tonight? Can we Wang Chung? I just feel like a lot of times the stuff I see on Tumblr specifically, if you spend any time on it, it's just people full of hate and rage, like college rage, which is a very specific rage. And I was like, when you're telling this is fucked up when this happens and this should be happening instead, then all people want to talk about is this is what's fucked up. And they're like, well, that's not fucked up. You don't understand. You weren't there. You don't know. Let me explain it to you, little lady. So I'm like, I would rather just skip to the second part, which is putting out good stuff and being like, well, then just take this.
What is the goal?
What
is the end game that we want?
Yeah.
We want to be happy, supposedly, right?
We want to be satisfied.
Supposedly, when you're charging at a guy on Twitter and you're like fucking like lancing him.
Yeah.
In theory, like in plain sight theory, the theory we all accept, which I don't know, is it true? Is that behind all of that force is revolution, and the name of the revolution is can't we all just get along? Now,
is it though? I don't even know.
Yeah, if your flag is can't we all just get along?
That's a fucked up flag too.
Why under that flag are you slitting people's throats? No matter how racist they are, no matter how much how like when are we going to get to this revolution where we go like, let's start. It's more boring, but let's start setting the example.
It's so much more boring. It's fucking terrible, really.
And it's really hard to think of a positive way to incite subversive thought. But another. I mean, and I've referenced it numerous times on this podcast. I think you retweeted it. Was the blog entry, the article that was admit it, your fave is problematic.
That was a great one.
I thought there was such a gracious invitation within there. It was like such a beacon of light within a generation that I am so like shaking my cane at all the time. But I was like, oh, this is the thing that I'm looking for, is the idea that can we acknowledge that humanity is so flawed that if we are going to clean up this porch, that it is going to involve touching dirt. And if we all go ick every time we touch dirt and point at it and scream dirt, 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 we're going to be a bunch of fucking clean children on a dirty porch shrieking at each other.
We don't ever get to have it works. we don't ever get to have conversations about anything because it's too, when you start, if you even start, people are like, well, here's why what you said is problematic. And then there's no conversations that are going to move anyone anywhere because it's all like, how fast can I shut you down? How quickly can I shut you down and then shame you? And then we don't get to move in any direction from there.
How much of the shame and the hate or trolling do you get that's simply because you're a woman?
It's actually, and me saying this is going to make it happen more. So be aware
Gauntlet
of that.
thrown.
The gauntlet is thrown. I actually don't. It's not that bad. It's really not that bad for me. And it also makes me mad when people are like, "You're one of the good ones," like one of the good feminists, and I'm like,
the Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. And
That's
I'm
what
like,
we
well,
called it
now
in the
I want to
80s.
be one of the bad ones, you fucking asshole. Don't ever tell me I'm one of the good ones because you'll see me become the bad one. But yeah,
Is that because that you project yourself? You seem to have a pretty sane approach to how you do stuff.
I try to, and when I talk about like sex or something, like I'll like say something about giving a blowjob or something, and people will be like, "That's so cool that you talk about that, and you're feminist." I'm like, "Yeah, feminists give all of the blowjobs. We give all of them. We love it. It's so great. How much power do you have when you have a man's genitals in your fucking mouth? That is power."
You definitely.
Thank you. Good night.
You do not want a blowjob from a non-feminist. Really. It's the worst. It's probably all teeth.
All teeth.
No, but related to that, like, here's another anecdotal thing. But I also we're coming so close to which I think is beautiful, is bridging this from societal stuff and digital stuff to couple stuff, because your original wheelhouse is you're an expatriate from the. Weren't you a couples therapist?
Yeah, I was a couples and family therapist.
And you fled.
I ran fast.
Which makes you more trustworthy as a therapist than anybody who stayed. But
it's true. I was a therapist I practiced for almost about 6.5, almost 7 years, and I really loved it, but I chose to work with really tough populations, and really tough populations will burn you the fuck out. So I was like, I tried to take a job working with people who were just like, "Oh, you feel stressed out," and I was like, "Fuck you! You have no idea how good you have it." And then I was like, "Oh, I got to get out of here. This is my fault now." I fled.
What do you mean when you say tough population?
I worked. My first job was with kids who had been removed from their home, and their next step was going to be to put in training school, which is like bye until you're 18. And then my next job was with only suicidal people. My next job was with 270 people with schizophrenia who were living in a house or a hotel.
that's how Freddy Krueger got born.
I know, right?
The bastard's child of 1,000 maniacs.
A thousand maniacs. Yeah.
That's how sperm works, right? We all learned in Dream Warriors.
Which, by the way,
That sperm is like a slushy. Like if 1,000 crazy people rape one nun, it makes Freddy Krueger with their combined sperm. That's irresponsible.
It's like a gay couple where they're like, we don't want to know which one it really was. We just want it to be all of our kids together. And some of them's like, he's got my eyes though. I think it's mine.
He has my proclivity for knife fingering.
Yeah, he's got all my burnt flesh.
I kind of want to. Like, part of me really wants, because I think so many people are listening that could benefit, because what you just said earlier was that you actually have a easier time, and I think it's not an incorrect assumption that has something to do with inside you, that you know how to handle things better. Therefore, I'm curious then, for all of us out there who are living on Twitter, living in social media comment sections, getting into these tangles that jack up our nervous system, and all of a sudden we're just I mean, what do you do in these very typical situations that maybe some of us aren't doing?
Okay, that's a good question. I would say, and I'm not always great at it, if you catch me on a weird day, I'll fucking yell at you for no reason and then apologize later. And that's the thing I've learned. One is that what I don't want to have to do is apologize to someone who is a little shitty to me when I blow up later, and then I'm like, you're right, I'm sorry, I said something shitty. I don't want to have to apologize to you. Fuck off. So that's my first line of defense. Second line of defense is going, what do I really want out of this? Like, genuinely, what is the ideal outcome of this situation for me? And is there any chance in fucking hell that I'm going to get it? Right. And if there's just not, then I just choose not to engage. Right. Like, there's no point to me. Like, if what I want is, I want you to stop being racist and sexist and understand how I feel about things, I'm not going to do that over Twitter.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
And why would you want that for some
Right?
dude? What kind of weird
that's the
dead
weird
man
thing.
walking relationship is that? Or you're just going to be Susan Sarandon to one guy on Twitter?
You're the one. I've decided. I will change you. And for so many, I think women too, we take on project dudes to date. And so taking on project dudes on Twitter, I feel like is like a weird extension of that, of like taking on like, I will make you better. I will be the special one that will understand you and make you. It's not my job.
It could be. I think we're all afflicted to that by it, though, like because we all want to. I think so. What I'm hearing and combining it with the tools I'm acquiring in therapy right now.
Just the fact that you said what I'm hearing, it's good stuff. Good reframe.
Right,
yeah, it's good stuff. Good communication.
By the way, you look fantastic tonight. Fuck!
Emily, is Kumail a project dude?
Of course.
Anyway, what were you saying? No.
Oh, I shouldn't have answered for you. It just seems so
obvious.
obvious.
No, he's not. No, not at all.
I mean, thank God he's not here tonight.
No, he's not backstage staring at me right now. No, not at all. He was one of the first guys I dated that did not need me to function. And so that was why he was terrifying, but also why I fell in love with him.
Would I just to linger, not to beat this dead horse, but just because I do think that people listening could like benefit from this because we're interacting all the time, just in these little digital bursts. Would you say that then, like one of the differences between your type of interaction with trolls, let's call them, like, do you do a lot of just blocking, ignoring?
I do some blocking, yeah. I try to think, like, what do I want? And if what I want is to make this guy feel shame or bad, then I'm like, I need to find another way to make... there are other ways to affect someone's emotions that don't involve... Because some days you just want to make other people feel bad. You feel bad, you want to fucking spread it around, but just be honest with your own intentions.
Right.
Like, if you're like, no, I want to educate him about fifth wave feminism. No, you don't. You want to fucking make him feel bad. You want to make him feel bad because he made you feel bad. You don't want to educate him. You don't give a fuck if he's educated. Just be honest with that desire within yourself. And then also think about him. What does he want? He wants to make you feel bad. Are you going to let him have that? That's a lot of power to give somebody, a stranger who has an egg for a fucking face. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. I feel like I have, like, incidentally, like going to therapy, and then as a direct result of therapy, I adopted this new thing, which I never would have done before. I actually, when I started on Twitter, I thought that blocking people was like some kind of admission of defeat.
You won? Yeah.
Like, no, I can fucking take anybody down. Come at me. Fucking,
Yeah.
like, I'm Steven Seagal.
And what does that even mean, take them down? What does that even mean?
I mean, I'll tell you what it means because I'm still, part of me is like, no, I want you to understand how good I am. It means they block me. And I was fucking good at it. Like I would that was my zero sum game. Like for real, for 3 years that was my game. Like people would come at me and they'd go like, community sucks, and I'd be like, all right, let's talk for a while. 3 weeks later, they're blocking me,
like,
and I'm like coming at them going, hey, I thought you wanted to talk, motherfucker. That's me winning. Unhealthy.
Meanwhile, community, they're like, hey, where's Dan? Oh, I don't know. I think he's talking with a guy
Because
from
then I'm
3
fucking
weeks ago.
into him. I'm like, why do you draw like an 8-year-old? Is it because your dad left? and they're just like crying and like fucking like, I just fantasize about their suicide. Don't commit suicide. Talk to somebody.
Suicide is not good. There's a number you can call.
So in therapy, because of the stuff I learned, then I just like applied that. I never talked to my therapist about Twitter.
That specific thing, yeah.
But I applied the tools that I was learning in therapy
What a good
to like
client you are.
What's that?
Applying tools you've learned elsewhere. What a great client
I'm
you
all
are.
over the place. And I'm assuming you think I look great, but won't tell me because you're so advanced.
I'll tell you later. Off mic.
I feel like if somebody came up to me and said, you know what, I really like the sound of your talking voice, that's them saying, you look like shit.
I think
I can't think of anything to say nice about the way you look.
With all due respect to Emily, I think the sound of your voice one was the bad first example.
That was maybe a bad first example.
Because it kind of is physical. It's like
that's true. That is
because then someone
physical.
else is like, "What about me?"
Yeah.
And really, they just have an ugly throat.
Could you? That's a great
But
voice.
more importantly, if you're foxy and all people do is tell you you're foxy, that's actually the more important battleground.
Absolutely.
Like you should be. Anyways, so let's get to that later because you're writing a book about you're about to come out with a book about self-esteem.
I want to talk about that.
But fuck you.
Fuck you all.
There was one more thing. I just wanted to brag about how advanced
Involved
I am.
you are. Yes.
I started blocking people. I started just fucking blocking people. I started eating it like Rice Krispies. I was like, I was just like, once I crossed the threshold, once I blocked the first guy, I was like, block. Do you know what the result is? Like, for better or for worse, when I get on Twitter now, it's like fucking so positive because either people are terrorized, like they're like, dude, don't fucking. If you ask him about Community's lighting in season 6, he'll fucking block you. And maybe, hey, fuck it, maybe I'm Caligula on Twitter, but more importantly, I'm getting on Twitter for my own experience. Like, I have a good time on Twitter now. I have intelligent, smart, funny people.
Conversations.
I say like, I'm watching this movie, and like people are writing and going like, I watched that movie. Did you watch this movie? And it's like, fucking, that's what Twitter's for.
That's what it's supposed to be for. Yeah.
And it's because I just started like popping those fucking bubbles. Yeah. Like it is like lancing those boils. It's like, this is not what I get on Twitter for. I don't get on here for constructive criticism about season 3.
Do you feel like Joseph Stalin felt the same way? Like when he was.
Yes, Jeff. As I've always said,
when he was killing off tens of millions of people,
is that how he blocked people?
That dissented with. Well, he blocked them with a bullet.
Blocking the breathing passageways.
I heard that he gave the orders to the Gestapo. He would say, "Block them."
Stalin was dealing with the Gestapo.
Yeah, he was in deep with the Nazis.
That is hard.
No one knows about that.
No one knows.
Is it because Gestapo is like
they all got
cold
blocked.
soup, and you're like, you taste it, you're like, this soup is cold, and they're like, it's Gestapo, it's supposed to be cold. Get
out.
I dropped out of college. We have this beautiful segue here because we're talking about like the individual working with this human biomass digitally, and we're talking about the same tools. And your former occupation, we're talking about two people who join in partnership, and your husband is here, and my wife is here. I think we should just bring them both out at the same time.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Let's bring out Kumail and Aaron McGathy.
Kumail Nanjiani, everybody.
And Aaron McGathy!
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on your show.
You're welcome. It's my face. We got to change it to my face up here. And I will say, just quickly, here's what I said. I was picked to run this theater when it first opened, and I really needed shows and really needed good things. And we happened to be at the bar one night, and I was like, you should just come and talk on stage for like an hour. I think it would be amazing if people would come, and you were like,
make it
really?
2.
Yeah. Make it 2 and I'm there.
That really is like Dan and I went to the drawing room, and Dan and I were sitting at the bar at the drawing room, and Dan's like, yeah, I talked to Emily Gordon, who works at Meltdown, and she said, well, we should do a show. So maybe we just get up there and we just talk, and we talk about going to the moon, and that was it.
That was literally, and the first show, if you'll remember, you wanted to show something on screen, and our screen wasn't working. So when the show was supposed to be starting, I was at the Apple Store at the gallery.
Oh God, yeah.
I think at the Glendale Galleria. No, not Glendale. I was whatever. Not interesting. Trying to find a part to go to the screen so that you could show this thing. And when I got back, you were like, fuck it, we just won't show it. And I was like, all right, let's do this. And that was in 2010.
Which mall was it?
The gallery is so close to the Americana.
We know.
I went to bat for you. I did not call you a project man earlier.
Yeah.
How dare you?
You did with your eyes.
Dude. Project Dude was your words.
What are you talking about? I was still am a project guy. You're also a project lady. We're all projects on this earth. We're on a rock hurtling through space.
Do not Dan Harmon this, Kumail. You are not able to do this.
It's so nice to, Kumail, it's so nice to see you. I appreciate what a project you are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Also, Kumail, you look fantastic tonight, man.
You do.
Thank you. I like your voice.
Wow. If only the show was an hour.
Right?
That's a fucking closer.
That is a closer.
I'll end it right fucking now. I will end this thing.
But that's a good segue. Let's talk about that. So we got two married couples up here. What I've learned in couples therapy and in solo therapy, both the same therapist, is this new epiphany that I've gotten is, so everyone in the world, every experience that you have, like imagine yourself just covered in buttons. You just get buttons pushed, but they're your deal and stuff. The most important thing about it though is that you marry the person who pushes most of your buttons. They push like the exciting ones.
Okay, so the buttons are good and bad.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No, there's good buttons, bad buttons.
Well, but when you're really pushing my buttons, that's never good.
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe I need a different
Flipping
metaphor.
your switches. There we go.
But like the people that you couple with are people. It's like not to bring it into a religious place, but they're invitations from the cosmos for you to evolve beyond what you would have been, because you could have just lived to 30 and then just fucking fell over,
Sure.
And hey, that would have been a fine life, better than a caterpillar, and fuck giraffes. But as human beings who live 70 years or 90 in women's case.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, I guess.
It's fine. You look great. It's like the second half of an important life is, well, I mean, maybe I'm biased because I'm married, but it's like it's joining with the person that affects you way more than strangers on Twitter, way more than good reviews or bad reviews of your television show, way more than anything. And so you're making an agreement not to wake up every morning and go, hubba hubba, what's going on? Let's go on a roller coaster. You're making an agreement to wake up in bed every morning with somebody that's like, this fucking person is goddamn fucking like Jesus powerful. Like this person is, what did Greg Proops say about his wife? How does he describe her? Formidable.
Yeah.
That's
This
fun.
person is formidable.
Right.
But I think that's true of some marriages, but then some marriages aren't like that at all. Some marriages are just like, we're good friends and we've decided to hang out for the rest
But
of our
you're
lives.
definitely...
Fuck those assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that you guys?
No, not at all.
No,
No.
fuck those.
You're definitely very formidable. I like to think... I know you challenge me. I like to think I challenge you.
We do, yes.
We sort of... it's been... Because that's what you were saying was, when every relationship I've been in, I felt like I had the power. And
Yes.
same with you.
Yes, I steamrolled every guy that I was with forever, and then you would not allow
She's,
me to do that.
Is that because you, as a therapist, you have all that? Like,
She's got all the tricks.
you have all the jujitsu and like.
Yeah, and she's a blowjob feminist, so...
I was going to say steamroll is euphemism for a feminist blowjob.
Yeah.
Does not hurt.
But... Right?
Yeah.
But I think that in our relationship, nobody's
in charge.
I hope after the show there's just a bunch of feminist blowjobs out in the parking lot tonight.
Swallow it, ladies.
Men can
For
be
Gertrude
feminists
Stein.
too.
Do you guys...
Did you say holla or swallow?
Swallow.
Do you guys think now that we're moving forward into a world where marriage just means marriage?
That you will have sex with us because the stage picture would imply that we're about to initiate a... No?
What's the picture? What are you talking about?
Wait, what?
I'm sorry, Aaron. Where are you?
Oh, he thought I was going, do you guys think now that gay people can be married, we could be swingers? Is that what you...
No.
Is that what you...
She said because
If gay people can be married, then we can fuck a million people.
We can fuck anybody we want.
This is purely a visual thing, but because Dan and I are on either side of you and we're
Yeah.
talking about your
Have
love
some
life,
more
it feels
wine.
very,
Yeah.
Just take a cab home.
Let's have fun. It's a night of no mistakes.
I think that,
No judgment.
Is Jeff involved?
I think the new rule, just fuck whoever you're sitting nearest.
But never tell her she looks good, and you're a
Tell her she
feminist.
fucks good, though.
The question to the panel is:
Yes.
do you think that like we're famously we keep talking about this divorce rate? It's like it's gotten so high that basically most marriages that we basically have become a like 2 or 3 marriage culture, which is just like it's like capitalism has absorbed that in my perception. It's like, which is why I'm proud to have waited really long to get married, because even if only because I'll die soon, I promise I'm gonna have one wife and fucking die. I don't want to play into this con, but
Who's getting conned?
do you guys think that these kids, these hologram kids, these Oculus Rift, Minecraft AR, my dick can be your vagina, the Supreme Court doesn't care, let's fucking do it. do you think that their divorce rate will lower? Do you think that marriage will, now that it has been liberated?
No, not necessarily. I'm on my second marriage. Kumail's my second husband. I got married when I was very young.
Damn it!
So
I really
I'm
put
one of
my
these
foot
people.
in
Yeah.
it.
I'm one of those people you were talking about.
Yeah, I guess I maybe knew that and totally forgot and put my foot right in
but
it.
I'll tell you, I got married when I was like super young to a very lovely guy, good friend, wonderful.
Really? Oh, right. Everyone can hear this.
We're getting there. But
I'm joking. He's a very nice guy.
very nice guy. But who did not push a lot of my buttons and didn't challenge me, and I kind of just ran the show. And so we got a very amicable divorce, but I feel like what I expected from him, I expected him to be everything to me. I expected him to be like my best friend and my confidant and the guy I cook like food with and like a real fuck guy, and like he couldn't.
I've met him.
Right?
You thought he was gonna be a fuck guy?
All right.
I'm just saying.
All right.
If that's not fair for women to expect, then...
Well, I just feel like at some point, it used to be that marriages were business arrangements set up by parents to like make more people to work at the family business or like keep money in the whatever.
Well, and women went straight from home to
Exactly.
husband.
And at some point, it became a thing of like, no, your spouse has to be literally everything to you. They need you, like you have to be ultimately fulfilled in this one human being. And it's not that you're not fantastic, but when I got divorced,
I didn't think this is where this was going.
Let me get.
I think it's great that you evolved beyond expecting someone to be a fuck guy. You found Kumail.
Like a really good friend.
Hey,
a great friend.
I'm a fuck guy.
You're absolutely a fuck guy.
The world is full of fuck guys, but has very few projects.
Yeah.
Kumail, I would say...
I'm good. I'm a cunnilingus meninist.
Yes. You strike me...
Is that what Wile E. Coyote was called?
I think Kumail, you might be a project fuck guy.
He is a project. Yeah, you're a project fuck guy.
Yeah.
But when I realized that after I got divorced, that like I need to have good friends and a good like career that satisfies me and hobbies already. Like I need to already be a whole person and not expect a dude to be like the thing that makes me whatever. And once I kind of got that in my head, I found a guy that complimented me. This guy.
Who knows what's going on?
They're just having a night.
It's bad ecstasy trip.
Okay.
No, it's good. I'm flattered that they would choose this place to come and roll.
I would have gone to Bootsy Collins at the Hollywood Bowl.
I think it's interesting that you evoked like the history of marriage, because if you look at, you know how like in your biology textbook, remember that Empire State Building diagram where it was like, this is the history of the planet, and then at the very top there was like a dime on top of the Empire State Building. This is how long humans have been around ever.
Yeah.
In the history of the concept of monogamy, the
Yes.
concept of marriage, like a vast, like the history that we understand is, as you said, arranged marriage. And the idea of our tradition of marriage is that it's romantic. It comes from like the idea of like actually stealing off into the woods. The ceremonies that we get married at, they're actually imitations of actually like terrorist weddings, you know,
Like raping and taking, yeah.
like sneak off into a clearing, invite your friends, have that fuck up friar that like you know the end of the Kevin Costner what was it's like that was the revolution of marriage very short time ago.
Yes.
And since then the what do kids have as a tutorial of what a healthy marriage consists of? The answer is movies in which at the end of the movie
Is when they get together.
They're about to get married.
I have the biggest problem with this.
And then
Yes.
there's just and then it's like fuck it. And
You're supposed to be, once you get married, you're happy forever because that was the goal the whole time, and just be satisfied. And all these women and men, but mainly women, are like, wait, what the fuck? I'm supposed to be happy forever. Why am I not happy?
The implication is that if you are with a guy that you've been with for a year or a girl that you've been with for a year, and there's somebody across the room that's like, oh, they're so much more interesting. I wonder why. Yeah. The implication that you walk away from 30 years of rom-coms is actually like, well, you know why that guy's more interesting? Because he's gonna like make you happy forever.
He's the real one.
It's the opposite. It's like no, it's like filling up on bread. It's like, yeah, of course you want fucking like don't do it. Don't do it.
With Shakespeare, the difference between a comedy and a tragedy is there's a wedding at the end
versus a funeral. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but there's no.
So
it's true. It's a very surprising.
The trip just got to another
Dave
level.
just got his brain wrinkled.
Yeah.
What you
then,
have to do is you have to keep on bumping papers. You have to keep on competing on like cases at your law firm. You have to continue to get the Axe body spray account. You have to like role play.
The
rom-com.
the happily ever after from all the fairy tales is like where all the stories end.
It always ends.
Because guess what? Marriage is not an adventure.
It's not super exciting or boring. It just is. It's just there.
It can be an incredibly satisfying thing. There's also not a ton of stories about raising children. Like we
skip over.
We don't regard raising children and being married as adventures.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't. Like would be weird, wouldn't it? Like we used to. Maybe
Finding
in ancient
Nemo,
Greek
man.
times when we would like leave. Finding
We
Nemo.
need to have a child and lose him.
He's right. Finding Nemo. You got it.
That's true.
Well, Oedipus was left out on a rock because his feet were too big, his feet were too big because they tied his legs together.
That's the story to follow.
They bound his legs together. That's right. Some twists and
anyways.
turns. Some twists and turns in that
You'll
one.
be dead and I'll be smoking a cigarette.
Let's talk about your book. That it's probably not an opportune time to plug it because it's not being published for a little bit. Right?
September. I'm finished with it. It's coming out end of September of this year.
But it's
You can pre-order it, right?
Yeah, you can pre-order it.
It's about Hitler.
It's
and
pro Hitler.
and how amazing a cook he was. I've cultivated a very odd group of sociopaths.
That's true.
Do you have a title for your book, Emily?
Yes, it's called Super You.
Super You.
Yes, and Hannah Nance Partlow, who was here in the audience,
Yes,
did all the
Hannah.
illustrations for it. She fucking killed it so hard, and is amazing. And yeah, the book is just a funny self-esteem guide for young women to like women my age, essentially, and like a self-improvement guide.
Do you know of any other self-esteem guides for young women?
Honestly, I did look, and I've read a few that are like adjacent, but I didn't see any that weren't. I didn't see any that were marketed towards like rookie age, because I also write for rookie, teenage, early 20s
Can
ladies.
you talk about self-esteem in young women while I turn my mic down? Because I don't want to mansplain, and I don't want to.
Well,
But I think this is so important, and you're clearly the one to shepherd this flock.
Well, that's a tall order.
And you look great.
You are somebody who definitely like make your compassion and the combination of your compassion and your vulnerability and your wisdom makes me, and I'm sure tons of women in this audience feel so good about themselves.
Thanks, everybody saying.
To the
I
extent
can't
that-
take it.
A few weeks ago, I was leaving like a pretty disheartening meeting, and I saw that you were on a podcast where you talked about your fears. And I was like, oh, I have to, which is called Terrified.
Yeah, Dave Ross's. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
But I was like, I have to hear Emily talk about what she's afraid of because I feel so terrible. And my podcast wasn't downloading fast enough. And I was sitting in my car just crying. But then I was like, well, you're fine. This is, your life is okay.
Yeah. Also, you
you're
can just
crying.
call me. We have each other's numbers. Just call me next time.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Yeah.
I'll do it. So I'm so excited about this.
Talk about your book.
Well,
Talk about your book! You have 20 seconds.
okay. It's a book about unicorns, and no. I hated myself a great deal when I was younger. I had a lot of self-loathing, a lot of self-hatred, both for real reasons and for reasons that I created and then would not stop thinking about. And I tried to think of what would have helped me when I was a teenager and super angry and super goth and not able.
Not that being goth is bad.
Not that any of this is bad, but this is where I was.
How goth did you get? Like,
Goth as fuck. You have no idea. You have no idea. Her Throwback Thursday game is
It
tight.
is the best. It is the best.
Sorry, go ahead.
It was pretty tight. So I essentially it kind of goes through just kind of getting you on your own team and understanding that you have to be on your own fucking team because nobody else is going to be. And they can be, but
How do you get a team?
you are a team. You're already a team. You're already there. And just kind of raising your awareness of what you're doing so that for so long I just kind of functioned on autopilot, and this autopilot was like, I hate myself, I'm horrible, I hate myself, I'm horrible. And just at some point stopping and being like, I'm doing this to myself, and my life's just going by. Like, either way, if I spend my time hating myself or if I spend my time learning to like myself in any capacity, it's happening either way. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, deep cut down.
Hey, guys, you guys have to either talk softer or not.
Yeah. He has a very resonant voice. And
It's not your fault. You're whispering, but I can feel it in my balls.
It's a good baritone. Kind of vibrates in there.
So tend your own garden, manage your own buttons. Yeah. You are in charge of your own experience. If no matter how racist, misogynist, hurtful, vindictive, unhealthy, unbalanced, in need of fixing your opponent is, no matter what is happening to you, it's fine to have reactions to it.
Absolutely.
But you are
You're
charge.
driving this boat. Even if you decide not to make decisions, that's a fucking decision. So, like, just stop being on autopilot. Start having intentionality behind what you're doing. Like, even if that means that doesn't mean that you have to make, like, healthy choices at all. But, like, the buttons thing, know what the fucking buttons are. Know what your buttons are and know what presses them and what doesn't. And then if you want to pick someone who pushes all the bad ones, you're picking them, but acknowledge that you are choosing them because you want those buttons pushed for some reason. Instead of like, the world's just like happening to me. It's not. You are making it happen. Even if by making it happen, you're kind of giving up all control and deciding the universe is just out to get me.
Right.
It's not.
I mean, and always as an overriding thing, it's like you're always going to fuck up in that regard. 1,000 times you're going to fuck that up, and 1,000 times you can bring it back. But if to the extent that you are honest about
yourself,
your experience,
your own shit,
your feeling, including like walking away from somebody that's making you uncomfortable, not engaging somebody when the only thing at stake is you being right as opposed to being happy.
Yep.
That actually, in my very, very short experience since bothering to go to therapy and start learning this shit, is like, I feel the world around me changing. Or
it
maybe,
feels different,
or maybe I'm just, as I said before, maybe I'm just creating a fucking delusional bubble around me. But if everyone created that same delusional bubble,
it'd be so much
there
better,
would be
right?
no room left for fucking like nomads. Like everyone would be walking around in this big bubble where they insisted on their own comfort.
Absolutely.
And
not to the hurt of anyone else, but just insisting on their own comfort and safety. Yeah.
And I think it's important because it seems like we're in a culture where confidence in women is seen as arrogance a lot.
Yes.
I think in guys it's sort of arrogance in guys is sort of valued, whereas in women it's not. Like Amy Schumer sketch where she's like they're like these scientists and they're all like apologizing all the time.
That sketch
is
is
so
fucking
genius and
I didn't even get it until halfway through, and I was like, "This is goddamn brilliant."
Yeah, because we're dudes.
Yeah,
we didn't get it.
That's what
You're like, I'm watching footage from a thing.
That's how brilliant that sketch is.
Yeah,
is
like
that men watch it and are like, oh.
Let the moderator talk, ladies.
Oh,
That's a joke.
No, I get it.
Anyway, I pushed one of the wrong buttons there. But I think that's why it's important.
Yeah.
And I know you don't talk super you. The idea is that
it's like about figuring out what the best version of yourself right now is, and then figuring out how to get there. It's
maybe
just
becoming your own superhero.
Yeah, it's very vaguely superhero themed, but kind of in a it's a very loose kind of theme. But yeah, that is kind of the theme of it.
I think that kind of like overarching, like I'm obsessed with like boiling things down to their most simplistic goal. Oh shit, we totally look how healthy we've become. We're 2 minutes past 9/11. And we didn't even celebrate it.
Yeah, the whole front row saw it, and there was just a general rustling in tension.
I think it's almost like if you could try to boil everything down to this overarching thing, it has something to do with seeing past like what's right in front of you to like a more distant goal.
Yeah.
And actually making distant goals.
That's your bat signal.
The actual
That's the
thing
you're
that
going
powers how you use your fork and how you interact with your uncle and how you tweet and how you if you don't view like 5 feet in front of you as how you should react 5 feet in front of you, if you instead go, what I want is 15 feet in front of me, I'm gonna base everything 5 feet in front of me on.
And then asking yourself, is what I'm doing right now getting me the thing that's 15 feet in front of me that I want? And if it is, okay. If it's not, I got to change it. Rather than just doing this. Hopefully I'll get to that thing. No, set the thing that you need and you want and then
which is called
continually
being
ask
impeccable with your word. And you all mocked me. The 4 agreements.
Name all 4 real fast. Name
The
name
4
the 4
agreements are: don't take it personally.
Don't take anything personally.
Don't take anything personally. Baby, come on. Try to tell people about the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word.
Okay.
Fuck. I know the shitty one is do your best. That's the dumb one.
You're like, okay, whatever the fuck that means.
What's the other one? What's the other one? God damn it.
Avoid making.
No, we're not all white. That's not one of the agreements. That's not one of the agreements.
Thank you, sir.
Don't make assumptions.
Don't make assumptions. That's actually one that needs more like study.
What is this? You came up with these?
Kind of.
Aaron
been working on it.
found this book in high school called The 4 Agreements, which is a self-help book.
Miguel Ruiz.
And we
They're Toltec laws.
Derek Waters, we landed on it by talking. We were talking about like fan interaction. Actually, we were talking about like how it always goes great and usually, and like how sometimes it goes wrong and how it goes wrong. We were talking about ourselves as fans of other people. Like if you get into an elevator with somebody you admire, like we were talking about like what happens in those moments, those supercharged moments of talking to a stranger and
who you know but also don't know at all.
Yeah. And you want to make an impression and blah 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 and all this stuff. I somehow from that discussion we landed. Aaron brought up like, oh well, it's one of the 4 agreements. Don't take it personally, and it was like, holy shit, oh God, Jesus Christ, that's everything. So it's a fun little book from a while ago. It takes 2 hours to listen to.
Let's put it on the bestseller list, you guys. Let's get it up there.
But but then I tried to introduce these fucking assholes to it.
They were not having it.
They're like they think the first agreement is that we're all white. Paget Brewster made a mockery of it. Just because I've only listened to a half hour of it, apparently I'm not an authority.
But I haven't read it since college, but I totally don't remember the light portion of it.
It's in the first part. It says we're all light and you're all smoke.
Wait, one of the 4 agreements says we're all light?
No!
Camille.
More or less.
Together.
You wouldn't know that from that podcast because Dan talked for 30 minutes about how we're all light and you're smoke and it's all a dream. We all live in a dream.
It's the same as Plato's shadows on the.
So
no, it's not the same as Plato's fucking shadows.
So smoke is bad and light is good.
Everything that's happening right now is
light is
my
good.
dream. That's.
Let's bring Paget Brewster out, everybody.
That's one of the 4 agreements.
No, that's not one of the fucking.
Camille.
So you're the genius, evil
the
genius.
idea is that everything that happens is it's through a filter of our emotional experiences.
That's
and
very
everything
true.
that's happened
Yes.
and-
Okay,
See?
that makes sense.
So there's a technique.
That makes sense.
I would be pretty certain that if that author could add a 5th agreement, it would be you should read the whole fucking book.
he
That's
killed himself last
Well,
week.
but it's his fault. Don't do all 4 agreements in the first half hour.
That's true.
The first half hour is all about smoke and light and mirrors and shit.
So it's a magic book.
When did the dragon show
I
up?
don't hear any of this. This is all happening in a dream. I don't care.
Real good. Emily, I have several teenage family members. Is your book cool to? Is there? Like
There's some sex stuff in it.
Yeah, but teenagers should know about sex
I think
stuff.
so. Yes.
Well, Judy Blume took care of that shit.
Right? Are you there, God? Yeah, it's totally appropriate for teenagers, I would say. And I do talk about that specifically, that you view everything through the light of your experiences. I try to if you back everything out, I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement with
just
this
because
topic.
she said the word light in a sentence.
It sounds like she's in agreement, Dan.
I'm in one of 4 people that agree with your theories on this. Like the idea of if you back everything out, if your life was a reality show, like a very boring for most of you reality show, but
ours are great reality shows.
Mine too. I'm just saying everybody's life is ultimately very boring as a reality show. But if you viewed it as a reality show and were divorced from your talking head segments of well, I can't believe he did this and he did this because he's like this and this happens because he should know that I don't like. If you just viewed the situation objectively, Like, that's you kind of, you've got to learn to divorce that some of the shit is your shit and you can't bring it anything because the other person you're talking to doesn't have any fucking clue what your talking head segment is.
Because
So
the only thing you can do is control yourself.
That's cross-stitched, a very beautiful thing that hopefully will be an item. You can only control yourself. You have no control over anybody else whatsoever. So you have to, like, if you're in a confrontation with someone or in a conversation, just realize that take yourself out of it and watch as if it was on television, because if it was, you would just see two characters interacting and all you can judge is those interactions. Everybody comes with their own baggage and their own shit.
And you would never judge the dude that was like just hanging out. And if you
Yeah,
saw
right, exactly.
if another guy was like
Exactly.
and if there was just a guy going like that,
You'd be like, oh,
you
he's
wouldn't be
just
like,
sitting
what
there.
a pussy,
What a fucking asshole.
what an idiot.
Why
You'd be
isn't he
like,
asking
I
her?
want to learn more about that guy, David Hyde Pierce.
Is it him? Is it David Hyde
I don't know. I guess
Emily,
that's
did you say Hannah cross-stitched that?
Well, she created an illustration of a cross stitch because I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you had like a cross stitch, like old timey pillow or like a thing of you can only control yourself. So she made this gorgeous thing that looks just like a cross stitch. That's a page in the book. That I'm hoping we can make another thing out of.
Yeah.
We're gonna make posters out of it.
All these things are like, it's so hard to, like, sometimes I'll get into these Twitter things, and then you're right, nobody's gonna change. Nobody's changed their mind about anything since like the fucking 90s. Nobody changed. So, and I'll get into these fights with people. Can I tell you, I've adopted a troll strategy.
Yes.
With people. I'll tell you what it is. I'm not proud of it. Actually, I love it. I have a new strategy because a lot of times you'll be talking to people and they just want to, it becomes a semantic argument where they like just want to contradict you, and it's not about the meaning anymore. It's
Right.
about defeating the
It's not
person.
about anything other than
it's
just
about
like
defeating the
semantics.
person.
But you
Trying
get
to-
to
they're
live
picking
one more
word
month if you...
from your 140 character tweet. They're picking one word.
Yes.
And I do that
Exactly.
too. It's like, well, if leather is the glue,
Yeah. So I have this new thing. So if somebody like, because I'll get people, if somebody ever like calls me Indian, I'm like, that's racist. I'm Pakistani. I know research is hard, so I'll do that. But then the other day I tweeted, I was like, hey, my people are looking to trade Bobby Jindal. In exchange, we'll take literally anything. I said that he's an Indian descent.
Yeah.
And so then people will be like, you're Pakistani, he's Indian, do some research. I'm like, actually, India and Pakistan were the same country until 1947, so I know research is hard, but...
What a piece of shit. What a piece
So
of
I'm
shit.
like, I got you coming, I got you going.
Wait,
You cannot win with Kumail Nanjiani.
wait, Camille.
I love this.
Are you saying you laid that trap? You knew people were going to say that so that you could kung fu?
No, but I came up with it right then, and I was like, this is great. If you call me Pakistani, I can be like, actually, we're all kind of Indian. And if you call me Indian, you're racist because I'm Pakistani.
You really can't win. You cannot win.
He's saying like the first instinct is to make people laugh, to make people happy. And then
that
the
funny?
second instinct, if somebody comes back and goes like, your joke, I'm not laughing at it,
Yeah.
but I have a different response, and there's my response. So that guy, if you agree to go out in the alley with that guy, the crime has been committed, and what goes on in that alley
You'd burn
is
the-
your business.
Yeah.
And it's like you're saying, like, you bring out a fucking corkscrew, and
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not playing fair now.
Yeah.
No, not playing fair
because
at
you
all.
shouldn't be
Yeah.
out there. You shouldn't be
Yeah,
out there.
you have a water gun, I have a fucking mace. Don't...
Because you shouldn't be out there. That's a great
But
point.
we should probably talk about. I mean, just that one little inkling though is like the reason you go out there is that's a classic example.
Connection.
You must be going connection.
Because
Well,
you
I
want
mean,
to make
that
him feel
person
bad.
is correcting.
Oh, yes,
somebody
yes, that's what
because
I- that's-
they want
yes.
a piece. They want to be in a conversation.
That's also true.
No. I'm saying the reason you go out there. I know
Yes.
the reason. Yeah, the reason the Statler and Waldorf guys are like
Yeah.
calling shit out. Why does Kermit start engaging Statler and Waldorf? The reason is because for some part of what they're saying, Kermit's like, you know what? The Muppet Show is full of shit. It's just some part, and it doesn't matter if it's true or not, right? But can we all acknowledge that?
I don't know if I
that's
would
what
acknowledge
brings
that.
us out there into that alley.
I think sometimes if I engage with a Twitter troll, I'm in a bad mood. I've
Yes.
got something that has irritated me that day, and
Yes.
I don't want to take it out on that person or I can't. So I'm like, here's a person that will take my shit. And
Yeah.
I give them my shit, and I fucking burn
I have
them.
that same thing.
Yeah.
If I'm in a shitty mood, like, I'm never surer of my own opinions than when I haven't gotten enough sleep. Like,
He's a real bear, you guys.
But isn't that saying the same thing? Like, isn't it just like unconsciously? Isn't it part of you when you to continue using that metaphor, when you go out into that back alley and choose to have that person-to-person stiletto knife fight, which I just recently did with a dude today, where
what was the meat and potatoes of that thing, or is that even worth mentioning?
I retweeted. I'm happy to tell you. I retweeted a very funny joke by some stranger who said, "I would like to see a reality show where Vine stars are executed." I clicked a fucking button, retweet, and because I clicked that button, then in my feed, and remember how I said I'm so happy because I've started blocking people. Like Twitter's been a positive experience for me. Then this guy just in my feed. It goes like, "That's a funny thing coming from a guy who let community turn into dog shit." Whoa! And I was like,
unrelated.
But there's some part of, what do you mean unrelated?
You're not related.
Yes, his thing is unrelated. Yes, I thought you were going to say unrelated. God damn it, fuck you.
You could have posted a picture of a flower, and they'd be like, "That's a pretty flower."
But obviously something's drawing me. I'm following something.
And what were you following? Let's talk about it.
I'm following the fact that I don't think community.
So you want to disagree with him and let him know that you disagree?
I want to know that the guy who says that is definitely a bad person.
Because I think
that's
at the
what
heart
you want.
of what that
you
guy
want reassurance that if someone has a bad
I want to
opinion
know it's
of
not
you,
Morgan Freeman like logging in and being like, not that Morgan Freeman's not a piece of shit. I'm sure he is, but
that guy,
I just mean like
positive or negative, was trying to connect with you in some way, whether or not it was good or bad.
He was trying to get a reaction.
He wanted
whatever's going on in his end. I'm talking about.
You don't give a shit what's going on.
Can we all acknowledge what's drawing us into these knife fights is a suspicion. I think Malcolm X, I really, really am going out of my jurisdiction, but I think there's a quote from someone just flew across the room.
I'm so curious what the next thing you have to say is.
Someone wanted to go and it turned into and they now are dead because of me. And I apologize. I'm going to assume that person's black.
So there's a suspicion.
And apologize for that person.
I saw him, not black.
Okay. You know what? Now that you say that, fucking makes sense. Fucking white people, they're pieces of shit.
See?
Black people are sitting hanging out.
Yeah.
What is
anyway.
this?
No, they're not here.
Malcolm X.
You just called Morgan Freeman a piece of shit.
Fuck him. The quote? I think it could have been Malcolm X. It could have been.
Let's just say it was.
Say the fucking quote.
It was a. And I'm gonna paraphrase it and fuck it up. Behind all of the strife, there's the racial like tension, all of these things. Is the suspicion we have to let go of that anything we're talking about is true. It's on both sides. It's like white racists thinking that something they're saying has any founding, and also on the victim side, like the idea that you can victimize somebody to the point where they actually believe.
So you're concerned that the suspicion you have a suspicion that this person on Twitter might be right, that you did let community go to shit. Is that what you're saying?
That's what he's saying, but I don't know. I don't know if that, for me, it's not like if I say Bobby Jindal is a piece of shit, there is no doubt in my mind that guy is harmful. And I'm not fighting him because I'm like, maybe he is a good guy. No, I've seen him talk to his children. He's a horrible monster.
That's you putting fruit out by a wayside. That's you grew that. That's not you respond. I'm talking about somebody coming up to your fruit.
Yes, he's right about that.
My fruit.
Your
sure.
example.
That guy.
You made the perfect example.
You're
you
right.
went out into the alley with the guy where like you said the opposite of the other thing. You're like, well, Pakistan was part of India because there's a suspicion there when the guy called you out. What you were reacting to, what drew you out into the alley, the way that someone agrees to try weird shit in 50 Shades of Grey is some white rabbit that says to you, I got parts of me that I haven't fucking like the guy is calling you out and going like, and you're going, fucking call me out. And you're going out into that alley not because you've got all your shit sealed up. You're going out into that alley because you're like, oh wait, right?
It's like,
I don't know about that specific example, but I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. When somebody says like, "Hey, if somebody says like, "Hey, you're not good in this thing," I probably fight back because part of me is afraid that I'm not good in that thing. I think that's I think that is part of it.
But the most important part of that, making no assumptions and taking nothing personally, is visualizing that other person has their own, like that guy who tweeted
He's got his own
it's
shit.
so silly. Yeah, like you would never, none of us on the stage would ever tweet at anybody.
I just thought of something horrible that I was telling you about that happens to me when I'm playing Mortal Kombat with strangers online. But I'm not going to say it.
Reaching out to a creative and saying like, well, that's great, but everything you do is terrible. Like that's that person's.
What do you say in Mortal Kombat?
No, I turned my mic off, but I think it. Where I it's horrible. It's very, very bad.
Just say it.
No, it's bad.
Just say it.
No, come on. Can we make this a safe place?
Is this a no judgment zone? I don't feel good about it.
It's a no judgment.
Okay. Don't judge me on this. This is me at my worst. And I say, so I will play Mortal Kombat, and it's just because it's one person, I get like really into it, and I really want to win. And then some people, I'm not as good as a lot of people are. They'll beat me, and then I could tell that they're fucking shitty. I could tell when I'm playing someone, I'm like, oh, you're a bad person. Not by their skill, but by like how they spam moves, and I think I'm a.
Is there an honorable way to play?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't spam fireballs.
Yes.
You don't spam fireballs.
You do not spam fireballs.
When
The fifth
you're
agreement.
right.
And that's the title.
Don't
That's
use
the
the
title of the
fucking move
episode.
over and over.
Yes.
And I'm on pretty solid footing, I think.
Yeah.
It's a personality test, really.
And also, Spencer,
Yes.
then when they beat me because they fucking did fireballs, they like come and they like teabag me, right? Now I'm like, you're a bad person.
Yeah.
And I want to turn my mic on and be like, I'm on a show on HBO. This is all you have.
You're not
No shame, no shame.
wrong. And
I feel horrible.
Because it's fucking true.
I feel horrible.
It's how you feel. And
I
you're a
wanna
human
be
being.
like,
And everyone playing a fucking Mortal Kombat. Fuck these kids. They should always know that. I have talked to Academy Award winning, not nominated, winning actors who go through the same thing. And I tell they have come to me. We've talked about like online video games. Fucking people who have Oscars, multiple Oscars, Emmys, are like, they're like, man, this fucking kid, the fucking called me a faggot, and I said, did you tell him Scorsese loves you?
But by the way,
And they go, no, because, and I'm like, why not? He's bringing out everything. Teach that fucking piece of shit.
but here's what would happen. If he said that, the kid would go, I fucking hate that show. It's fucking stupid. That's what would happen. That's
Not
exactly
with
what he
Scorsese.
would
It's
do.
not possible.
Dan,
No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Don't
exactly
you
what
should never
would
Scorsese spam anybody on
No.
that.
And there's no way to prove it.
get
It's like-
angry.
Oh, we should all
I'm
tell
like,
everyone
yeah,
that we're Scorsese.
yeah.
It is so gratifying. Never has a quote
But I
unquote
have never,
shitty thing felt.
I've never done that. But I feel it every now and then.
He does
not all
say it
the
out
time.
loud in
wait,
our
I
house,
thought you really
but not
did
on
it.
a mic.
Huh?
Wait, I thought you
No, I turned. I
He doesn't have the mic on.
just through a whole museum. You said I thought
No.
just a
I
thought
want to
you
turn the
had.
mic
very
on and say
clear.
it, but I don't do it because they'll know. Oh, okay, it's that fucking guy. If they watch the show, and that's me arrogant assuming they watch the show.
That's true. They would know. They would know.
I have.
I guess I should. What I should say is, I'm not going to say it.
Is that you said it once? Is it you?
Yeah.
said it
Fucking
once?
say it.
I'm on a very
No.
popular CBS show.
No.
What have you? This is all you have.
No,
Just change the network.
no.
I
I'm
have
not
the
gonna say it.
opposite impulse to like tell the person how much they hurt me.
But see, but you're doing that because you want them to feel bad. You want to shame them.
I think.
What do you spread? You're not like spreading like, oh, let me explain to you emotions. You're like, no, I want to make you feel bad.
I think that's
me
pretty
Right.
good.
Well, I want to like reckon with them and be like, we're in the same room and I'm another human being and you just like spewed this really shitty thing at me and I want you to
Yeah.
like look in my bloodshot crying eyes, which is why I send those gifts. Just one.
I've done that a lot, and I think that on the scale of things that are effective, ineffective, a good way to live your life, and that's definitely way closer. The irony
see
is
your
that just
humanity.
ignoring them. But however, like I usually do it vindictively. Don't you kind of like? Aren't you kind of like
I
when
do it
I would do it?
vindictively.
I would go like, "Hey man, that really hurts my feelings." Like I know I'm high roading them.
Yeah.
That's That's it. The knowledge that you're high road.
So
Yeah.
I think you have to cross it. If
Yeah.
you're really going to do that, you have to cross a threshold and go like, "Hey, man!" Like you have to be actually
I,
sincere about it.
I don't do it vindictively, but I think that you guys are in a better place.
I
I do it
yeah.
out of like, hey, like you're right. I am a dirty piece of shit. I am a feminist BJ giver. Yeah, and that hurts me, you saying that, because I mean, this is just going to continue to be depressing. I'm going to start saying that I'm Kumail.
Tell everyone you're Kumail. Just tell everyone you're Kumail.
I have the only really problem I have on Twitter is that people threaten in Portuguese to bathe in my blood because they think I'm the guy that created fucking Teen Wolf on MTV.
Is that a threat, or is that the sexiest thing ever?
Does Teen Wolf kill a Portuguese family?
No. The creator of MTV's Teen Wolf is Jeff Davis, who's not on Twitter for fucking good reason, because
But why is it Portuguese people?
loads of Portuguese, like Brazilians and Turkish people are constantly.
You don't want the Turks angry at
No
you.
shit. No, I get threatened with like decapitation and bloodbaths and like real like.
That's racist.
So they're
dude.
fans.
I just did that. I baited you into something that I was like, come on, dude. Let's be bigger.
You're
He's
not
really
Turkish.
good.
Be bigger than
You're
that.
not. You don't get to have the whole fucking Near East, man.
Sorry.
I was
You
listening-
don't want the Turks mad at you, and Jeff said, "You're right, because they'll
Yeah.
kill you." Fuck you, you redneck.
You would say that. I can say that because they're my people.
Everyone's your people.
My people can expand and
The
contract
Turks.
based on my needs.
The Turks have hated the Pakistanis for fucking centuries.
We're all the same.
No, you're not. You fucking.
As not only
So
am I-
you won't be able to tell Pakistanis and Turks apart in a lineup, and if you can, you're racist.
You're not going to win this one, Jeff. I'm sorry. He's got a lot of practice.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What about Turks and Portuguese people love the show, hate the show.
Well, I think they love it
a
so much.
literal bloodbath.
They love it, but not like the other Jeff Davis, keeps killing off characters they love, or the people that they ship. They
like
want
Portuguese Johnny.
It's called Teen Wolf.
I'm not shipping the right characters, so it's like we want more of these two characters to fuck on Teen Wolf, and if not, I will come to your house and eviscerate you.
This is
So I had to go on Google Translate and find out what I'm fucking being threatened with. And when I pull off a giant block of text and I put it into Translate, I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Well, in all fairness to the Portuguese, that's just shipping. Like, there's a lot of Portuguese people that
They're
are just
passionate
watching
people.
Teen Wolf and being like, "Wow, he's a teen and a wolf."
I was
The
recently
Portuguese shippers, you're the ones that are finding you.
Now you're being racist.
I was recently listening to a podcast that I very, very much enjoy that I will not name in this moment, that was talking about Silicon Valley and then brought up Kumail. And someone said, well, and yeah, he's Pakistani. And someone said, no, you're being racist. He's Indian. And when
well, they are. No.
Or are they?
Yeah.
Only time will tell.
But I was still like,
It depends on whether they like the show or not,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do they like the show?
yeah.
Oh, they're not racist.
They're racist.
Yeah. No, my research, because it was in the context of them talking about like feminism on the show, but they really love the show and they think you're great. And then someone's like, no, I know him. He's Indian. And I got really fired up about it for some reason, and not out of anger, but I was like, maybe I'll make a fake account and maybe I'll say,
Oh my God.
yeah, and maybe I'll say
You
you're
transform
wrong.
into an egg.
There's an
Yeah.
emotion.
My face started to smush and just like a flat landscape.
I think there's an
and-
emotion that we haven't named yet, which is like, it's like when you have knowledge that the other person doesn't, and you know you're right and they don't know you're right, and you're getting ready to drop the fucking hammer. That is such a good feeling, and there's no word for it. And I'm sure the Germans have one, but I don't. I'm sure the Germans do. But I love that feeling. Yeah.
But the problem is, even that is subjective, because, the Germans thought they had good knowledge about something,
Yeah.
and turned out they weren't right about it.
They called that Monday.
Well, did you hear the This American Life that came out a couple weeks ago, where they talked about how when people who are faced with an alternative view about an opinion that might make no sense, like if I say, no, the world is flat, and someone comes to them and says, no, here's a satellite picture of the Earth, they're more likely to double down
Yes,
on their
it's
dumb
confirmation
view.
bias. It's called confirmation bias.
Than to believe what you say.
What
so
is
we're
confirmation
all fucked.
bias?
Confirmation bias is just the idea that once you have an idea and you're like, this is correct, you'll only seek out information that reinforces the belief you have, and if you get any information that doesn't reinforce it, you're like, well, that's completely wrong and fucked up.
I
and
think
stupid.
that's fucking great news, don't you? Because no. I mean, for real, like that is the God particle that we've been looking for, because that lets us all off the hook. Don't you fucking
Stay
start?
tuned. You'll see.
I want to understand.
No, just
They already found
you're
the
about
God
to.
particle.
I'm about to explain
We
it.
spent hours writing this show. It'll come back around.
If it is instinctive to primates to do that, which I would applaud, because primates should not automatically just go, "Ooh, I think I'll do this. Oh, you said that, I'll do that." If that is a thing that we have to overcome, then we all get to just say, okay, that's a thing that happens to me, because I experience it every fucking day. When I read an essay about the misogyny of Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Beyond the Pearl of the...
It was so sexist, you guys.
It's like because it doesn't help that the person is not funny, is never funny. Anyone who's going to write that article is like a fucking, like just joyless...
They're not one of the good ones.
And they're not one of the good ones.
They're not one of the good ones.
But overriding that is like my sense of like, I always feel that trigger, that hinge, that safety valve that goes like, oh, are you telling me that now this is going to be that? Fuck that.
So
where's it end?
Where's
it end? What are we going to do?
What does it take
Is
for
Michael
you?
Cera going to play Shaft?
That would be
No one's
great.
calling for that.
That would be so great.
What does it take for you to change your mind about something generally?
To be fucking
May I
honest with
answer?
you, the reason for my enthusiasm for you, it takes acquiescence, it takes positivity, that's why I was so adamant about like what can we figure out about like the way you approach things, because I have never in the years that I have known you, I'm positive that if I was ever going to exhibit characteristics or thoughts or ideals or semantic flurbs that would possibly trigger you, I definitely probably threw them toward you at some point. I'm sure they've floated down some stream toward you. And you've never made it my problem, and you've never capitulated. We don't drink together every night. We're not like blood brothers and pinky swear brothers, and let's agree to alter each other's reality brothers. You're a virtual stranger to me with that just is impeccable with their word.
Leave it, Dan. Fucking leave it.
And invites people upward. Like when you say like, here is a list of ways that you can tell people that they're a good person without telling them how they look, and there is nothing in that communique that suggests to you that you're a defective unit.
We like you so much, Emily.
There's everything in that communique that suggests to you that you have an ability to repair yourself and evolve upward. So you always feel like you're winning. In video games, we wouldn't play video games if every...
Like, you're doing this wrong.
Yeah.
You fuck off.
Oh,
Yeah.
you fucked up.
Start over. Start the fuck
What
over.
happens in video games, and the reason people are addicted to them, is because that is the effect that video games have on people. They go, congratulations on running across this log 1,000 times.
That's a very good analogy. That's actually a really great analogy.
Here's a diagram you can use to make a sword that kills ghouls better.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's nothing. No one ever says you're killing ghouls wrong. I'm gonna rape you.
That's because I'm playing.
You use the word rape as a metaphor. I'm gonna stop listening to your podcast.
That's so true because I'm playing Arkham Knight right now, and it was so horrible. It's like you're Batman and you can't find your way out of this police station. You're fucking Batman. What are you doing?
Get it
It's
together.
not like that.
No.
But that's interesting. What Emily's really good at, and what you said earlier
Am I
is
dying? I feel like everybody's just
you have
complimenting me.
imminent death syndrome.
Yeah, we have some bad news, Emily.
Oh, Emily, you died in 9/11.
Yes. Your test results just came back.
You died in 9/11. What you're really good at is keeping your eye on...
And you didn't work in the buildings.
Yeah.
Why was I there?
You were one of the pilots. You were one of the pilots.
What do you think the fucking arc is?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I love my dad. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I think is always keeping your eye on the prize and getting what you want to get out of an interaction. For instance, like if we're supposed to fly on a flight, like, and this really happened, and they checked Emily, and they're like, "Oh no, we bumped you to the next flight," and I'm like, I'll get like self-righteous. I'll get like, this is wrong, this is immoral, this is not good. Fucking fix it. And Emily will befriend them and talk to them nicely.
I dare you to be
like,
better, she says.
And then get them to, and her, like, this was a couple weeks ago. Emily was supposed to have some surgery, and they called and they were like, "Oh, we can't do it anymore." And I'd taken the week off, she'd taken the week off to do it, and I was like, "Give me their number. I will talk to them." And she's like, "That's the worst idea." Yeah, I have an HBO show.
I am pretty good.
You're supposed to
Mortal
cut my
Kombat.
wife open and fix her insides, and I demand you do it when you're supposed to do it.
And I don't care if you're stressed out or angry while you're cutting her open.
What Emily did was, you don't want waiters to spit in your food, and you don't want the doctor angry at you when they're performing surgery.
That's certainly true.
But what Emily did was, she's like, okay, hung up the phone, was like angry and sort of dealt with it, and then called back, befriended the person on the phone, and got the job done. It happened. My technique never works.
No, not once. And you keep doing it.
It's calling it a technique is really
The
overstated.
number of times I have to pull you away from stuff. I have to like pull you away from yelling and screaming and raging at.
Well, I don't do that all the time.
Certainly not.
But I don't. Seriously.
Just when things fuck up.
Well, you're making me sound like a horrible person.
No, you're a wonderful person.
It's
We all
like
know
when
that.
something happens that I feel like I have this thing where I want everyone to do their job right. And if they don't do it right, then I get like I get a little indignant and I
Yes,
get
you do.
self-righteous, and I'm like, this is your job.
Because that's always
Do
what
it
gets
right.
you the results you need.
Because you feel like if you don't do something about something, people are going to fuck you over.
Yes, I have
And-
that thing since a kid, because I was, bullied as a kid. I'm like, this fucking person's bullying me. I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yeah, but we don't
was
live in that
bullied too.
world anymore. Nobody ever. There's examples of fucking like dumb archetypes of like, hey, listen, you a fucking blah, 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 I'm gonna do blah, 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 blah. Oh, sure.
And then you
blah,
get
blah.
What?
It's primarily fictional. And the important thing is, if you start to apply this idea of like, oh, actually, I'm just gonna be chill. It's important to note, like, once you're chill, there's going to be all kinds of people getting away with all kinds of shit.
Yes.
But letting them get away with it and walking around them, walking away from them, you're going to end up getting farther, faster.
so much further
than
It's
anybody.
So true.
The
I literally picture it like The Sims. Like, have you guys played The Sims? Come on. Sims, people, where you at? Where you have those, like, gauges over your head, those little, like, bars over your head that tell you, like, this is how hungry you are, this is how whatever. Like, that's how much power you have. And for me to, like, let someone else make me that angry over something that they genuinely can't do anything about, that's me giving them my power.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them my fucking power. That's mine. You don't get to have
Do
that.
you want to give up your ease, is what my therapist keeps saying. Do you want to give up your ease?
Yeah.
Like, you've worked hard to be at ease.
At
Do you
ease.
want to give that to
Do
this
you-
fucking
Who deserves
guy?
that? This person on Twitter doesn't deserve it. This poor lady who was just giving me bad news at the doctor's office didn't deserve it. And also, if I befriend her, she helped me out. But I always think of it like you have a certain amount of cake that you have to give to people. You have cake. You have delicious, wonderful cake. You can give it out. But if you're not interacting with people that give you eggs and milk and flour and vanilla, you don't get to make any more cake.
Oh.
Cake analogies.
Even better. That's a good metaphor. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so you can run out of fucking cake if
Yeah,
you're
you
not
can
hanging out
fucking
with
run
people.
out of cake.
So you don't
Yeah.
want to do that.
Yeah,
You don't
that's
wanna do that.
great.
You gotta
That's
have-
terrifying, actually. I'm afraid now I have a lot of phone calls to make to egg people and flour people.
Get those
First of
eggs
all,
coming
Aaron,
in.
sorry.
Give me more eggs.
I don't want to jinx things, but this is not only my favorite episode of the podcast. This has been the favorite 2 hours of my life. We should also like christen it with that felt fake. Just so
That
you know,
did feel
felt
real
fake.
fake.
No more. It's his favorite. And it's
now,
your
now
fault.
it sucks.
You
made
took
it
the
suck.
cake and you kept the eggs.
You're a bunch of dirty egg people.
They wanted to be part of the favorite episode.
That's racist.
Well, I mean, we got a little. So God, I'm crossing my fingers. Do we have the right combination? Do we have the right number of people to just play Shadowrun? Do we have to fucking get complicated?
Let's just fucking roll the bones, baby.
Spencer?
I think we got Demorge back there, and
yeah.
Let's bring Demorge Brown out right now.
Demorge
Brown.
and Demorge's numerical.
Here, we can put these together. You sit in the middle.
Wait, who's gonna fuck Demorge if he sits right there?
I think we're getting a mic, right, Zach?
I have a revolutionary idea. If we, assuming that I would have somebody else play Jim Nightblade, and I could play like NPC characters.
Who does a good Bruce Willis?
No one. I don't think anyone does. Can you do a good Bruce Willis, babe?
No, it'd definitely be Demorge, I would assume. But
Camille, how long has it been?
Jim Nightblade.
Camille, how long has it been since you played Dr. Friend? Only once, like 1,000 years ago.
I played Dr. Friend the first time.
There's McGathy.
You know that Curtis
There's
Armstrong has
Camille.
played your character with great aplomb and alacrity.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
He's okay.
He's just
I
light.
hope he doesn't listen.
We're all light.
You know what? All right. So who's familiar with my character? I would I want to play NPCs and have somebody play Jim Night. Yeah,
want you
you
to
play
do it.
Jim Nightblade, Demorge.
What
so
does
that people
playing
don't pigeonhole
NPCs
you.
mean?
Spencer, calm down. It just means
Usually they're.
it means I'm taking the episode off, man.
Camille, I
That
feel like you
sounds
should
great.
take my mic.
I'm not.
Just non-player.
Yeah.
They're
Or
not
Emily
played.
could play Mercy, and I could play Jim.
I also can just make comments on things as they go, not play a character.
Wait. Isn't there? Wait, if the numbers should work out.
If Dan gives up his character, the
Yeah.
numbers
Oh, you
should
play
work
Jim
out.
Nightblade. There you go.
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Just talk like Bruce Willis,
Oh, jeez.
and go with your gut. And
Yeah, Emily, you're a badass. You're
There's another mic
Okay.
coming, Dan.
you're kind of a shoot first, ask questions later.
You
sort of.
sure?
Okay.
Okay. Why?
Because you're Maynard.
Wait, but
It's muted.
All hell's broken loose here at Meltdown Comics.
He doesn't need to be on camera.
that's
All right, Harmon is relocating over by Spencer.
Dustin, everybody. Dustin!
Justin Marshall!
Can you pass this
Sorry.
to Dan?
Thank you, Mr. Marshall.
All right, Spencer, do we have a guest?
I'll do sound effects.
Do we have a guest recapper for us tonight?
Yeah, I think his name's Eben Burgoon.
Woo! Best cookies in the biz.
That's an amazing name.
It's a good name. All
Is
right.
that an actual guy from Shadowrun?
Yeah. He's a Shadowrun reference. Last time on Harmontown. Tiptoeing past piles of dead bodies with Baldwin Brown's BTL chip research in hand, the posse exited the hospital, joined by their controversial new frenemy, Jesse Yellowman. From the safety of Dr. Friend's Force 5 shimmering Force energy wall, Nightblade took the time to taunt the remaining guards with rude gestures before joining the party in their escape. There, among piles of broken and suspiciously used Roombas, rehydrated pizza crust, and empty aluminium Sputnik 1 cans, the party listened to Brown and Yellowman's turncoat proposal. However, the reward of owing the party 3 in exchange for the betrayal of their employers created a rift. Vortigard and Nightblade heatedly argued with Mercy and Dr. Friend over remuneration, reputation, and the code of ethics of Shadowrunners. As the argument reached its fever pitch, Nightblade seized the chance to surprise and turn the tables on Yellowman, only to be sent to the ground by his top-notch evasive robo-judo moves. Who's on the side of cause and who's on the side of cash? Will Jim and the gang have to dance before Yellowman's non-laser razor blades, or will cooler heads prevail? Let's find out now on Shadowrun Harmontown time.
Eben Guberman. Eben Guberman.
I have one question.
Okay.
I have 1,000, but you
I
go
have
first.
Millions.
Did you say aluminium?
It was hyphenated. It was very clear which syllables were meant to be stressed.
The British.
Aluminium.
I think, Dan, you should play your character, and
Yeah,
Emily
there's
and I should split this so
no
that there's
way that
someone
I
who
should
knows
play
what's
this
going
character.
on.
Yeah, come
I
on,
think
no,
so.
No back and forth. Just yes and it. Come on. I'm doing. Emily, you're playing a. You wrote a book about self-esteem for women.
Mm-hmm. So I'm uniquely qualified.
You're playing a character that just failed to stun baton a guy that now has compromised you. You're a bounty hunter, and you talk like Bruce Willis.
So we had said no to Jesse Yellowman's proposal.
Oh yeah, Nightblade jumped the gun and stun batoned him. Well, he tried to. He didn't succeed.
Are we all in the same room right now?
Yeah, you're all in Nightblade's apartment.
Okay, I approached Jesse.
He's got a stun baton. He's holding it towards you menacingly.
Horgard draws his Alpha assault rifle and points it in his direction.
All right.
All right, using my charisma, my exceptional charisma. Hey, Jesse, sorry, Jim's going through some stuff. Can we talk?
I don't know. Why don't you all put your weapons down? Maybe we could talk with weapons not out.
All right, I like that, guys. Can we put our weapons kind of down?
He puts the baton down first.
May I ask a question? Am I stunned? What's my situation right now?
You are not stunned. You're just disarmed right now.
You're just stunning.
You went for...
Do not compliment my looks. You may.
Hey, I would love to. Fuck your ideas. Sorry. Very sorry. Take that out.
Can we?
He's not a fuck guy. He's not a fuck guy.
Not a fuck guy.
He's reading it right off the sheet, though. That's
I'm sorry.
weird.
Yeah, that's my character.
I'm sorry, Spencer. So I have been disarmed. I've been
What's her
disarmed.
name?
Jim Nightblade.
That's Nightblade.
Yeah, so basically what happened is like 2 seconds before we started, you're like, huh! And then failed utterly. And then he grabbed the stub baton out of your hand.
So let's put our weapons down.
Let's put our weapons
On
down.
3.
Mine's
Yeah.
already down.
You
I'll
shoot
count.
Jesse. All right.
Is everyone on? 1, 2, 3.
Weapons down.
Okay.
Mine was already down.
All right. Can I just take a moment to say this world is crazy. It's like in any other situation, we'd be best friends, and here we are fighting. So,
But wasn't Jim Nightblade? Wasn't your whole point about not agreeing with Jesse Yellowman that we have to obey our own code of ethics? We should follow through on the original plan, right?
Everybody's got a code. Can I then, as I'm gonna fire my grapple gun and try to escape it. I'm trying to escape.
Are you Hudson
Fuck you guys.
Hawking this?
Yeah, I'm Hudson the fuck Hawking this. I'm out.
No, we're talking to this person.
Okay, I tried to fire my grapple gun to escape, merely to escape.
It's your apartment.
Yeah, I'm trying to escape.
Firing the grapple gun out your window. It hits a nearby rooftop and holds fast.
Nightblade, before you bone out of your own apartment, leave us holding the bag here.
Yes.
4 seconds ago, you tried to fucking karate chop this guy, and now you're just taking leave.
I don't take orders. I don't take orders from anybody.
We're not giving you orders.
No, he asked to put out my gun, so I'm out.
So you just leave it, okay?
This is your house.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Give me a reason to stay. Give me a reason to stay.
why do
Leaving makes no sense.
Spencer, how close is Eve Libertine to Jesse?
3 to 5 feet.
Okay.
What did you want to hear?
That's a great question.
Yeah, what was the correct distance?
I fire my shocker at Jesse Yellowman as I'm sticking with Jim Nightblade's original plan of knocking this guy down.
What's
Wait,
your-
so
Yeah.
we basically all decided to put our weapons down, and as soon as the bad guy put his weapon down, we all pulled our weapons back
Mine's
up.
not a weapon. Mine is a means of escape. That's it.
Great.
I fire my X-Shocker right at him as hard as one might.
What's your pistol skill?
My pistol skill. It's been a long time. Hold up, it's 6.
6.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
You have an app?
Yeah, there's too many dice in this game. I need an app. Okay. With his robot-like reflexes, he dodges to the side.
Son of a
shocker bolts plug into the walls.
Okay, here we go.
I put my gun back down and go, just fucking around. just trying to have a good time.
I play along. That was funny, dude. That was funny.
Hortigard, with your innate reflexes and combat senses, you feel some shit's gonna go down. You're the only person with the reflexes fast enough to react before he uses his crazy reflexes to do fast things.
I've got crazy reflexes.
Yep. Well, you did. That's why you went earlier.
Okay, good.
I draw, again, the Alpha Assault Rifle, which is loaded also with shock rounds, and shoot him with shock rounds, or shoot them in his direction.
All right. That one, you get him.
Yeah!
Okay.
Or as the Norwegians would say, hiya!
You hit him square in the chest, and you see electricity ripple through his body. You hit him strongly in his chest, and he's knocked back a couple feet just by the impact of the blow, and as the electricity flows through him, he crumples to the floor as if in cardiac arrest.
I released the grapple from the roof next door. I'm back. I'll stay.
Hodegard would like to...
That's perfect. That was a perfect sound.
Hodegard consulting the group. Quickly, people, is there anything that we need to derive from this person? Is there any reason to keep him around? Dr. Friend would...
Wait, are we talking about killing him? Is that what you mean?
Is Baldwin Brown in the room, too?
No.
Do we just have Jesse?
Yep.
Well...
Priorities and stuff.
We have all the BTL chips, right?
What?
Do we have all the BTL
You came
stuff?
for research. You have the research.
Oh, we have the research, I mean, yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't want to metagame, but Jesse's just the guy we ran into.
Yeah, he was working for someone who is trying to dissuade you from your mission.
How about this? I have a pitch, you guys. We
Kill him?
No, hold up.
2 pizza guys, 4 hours, one girl.
I prefer the non-lethal if I can. Because we've chosen not to betray our original employer, let's take this guy, bound and gagged, take him back to our original employer and show of faith how badass we are, and show him that this guy that wanted to underdo us.
I like that idea.
So all he wanted to do was dissuade us, and so he wanted us to talk.
He was trying to give us this whole play that like it would be more moral to
Okay, so then we shocked him, and now we're going to tie him up.
Yes.
If this is a movie, I know who the bad guys are.
Camille, you haven't been here for a long time. Man.
All right.
A lot of fucking shit's gone down.
Fucking let's tie him up and take him back.
All right.
I'm into it. You guys into it?
Do we have some sort of...
I do. I have rope. I take some rope out and I hog tie that dude.
Are we all on board with this?
As long as the bag is neutral, galvanically neutral, I'm not touching that shocking thing.
As long as everything that we're doing requires a lot of sound effects, I'm...
Yeah, how does it sound?
All right, we tie him up.
Let's tie him up. Yes.
And we gag him.
I call
well,
it...
I zip up and unzip my jacket, and I unfurl my ponytail.
I opened up Jim Nightblade's shed, a little like a utility cabin that he has in his place. I start a lawnmower. And while the lawnmower is rolling and going, I start a chainsaw too. And then I start farting like crazy. Cliffhanger!
All right, well, that was... All right.
DeMorge Brown, Aaron McGathy, Spencer Crittenden, Kumail Nanjiani. Morgan Freeman's a piece of shit, but we love Emily Vance Gordon. I'm Jeff Davis. Your mayor is Mr. Dan Harmon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming.
Comic-Con. We're at Comic-Con Sunday night.
Comic-Con, coming to San Diego. Next Harmontown will be down
at the Tin Roof in the Gaslamp District.
Camille's got a plug.
Meltdown is coming out on Comedy Central.
That's right.
June 30th at 12:30 a.m., which is a slot we really fought for. Tuesday night, 12:30 a.m., starting June 30th.
Also, feel free to flame Emily Gordon up at Emily V. Gordon on Twitter. And if you play Mortal Kombat with Camille, he's going to say some horrible shit to you. Drive fast, take chances, everybody.
Did you get any of that?
It's a good show.